Welcome back to an all new episode of All Gas, No Trash. My name's Adam, and this episode will be about Ella Thompson from Melbourne, Australia. But before we get to her, we do have to do the Game Rage No Curse minute, and it'll be about the YouTube verification process. I do want to recommend that for anybody that wants to avoid this completely, we are available on rss.com. Type in the keywords all gas, no trash, and RSS, and we should be coming up as the first search result. But we are also available on digital streaming platforms like Spotify and Apple Podcast, and pretty much everywhere else. Additionally, the live performances will have to stay on YouTube because we don't have any other means to have video hosting. So that's just the way the cookie crumbles. But yeah, I can't do anything about that. But it is what it is. We transition over now to talking about Ella Thompson, who is an Australian soul artist that recently captured my attention, perpetuating my fascination with music overseas. To have so many great bands to come out of the Melbourne scene with Jocotine, Dugong Jr. doing house music, and the really awesome punk scene that they have going on over there with Public Figures, and of course Gut Health. And man, there's so many bands that are out there that I'm already like forgetting all of them, but I've done previous episodes on them, so you can check that out in our episode list. But nonetheless, now we add on Ella Thompson into that pantheon of great music from Melbourne, Australia. And just to talk about Australia in broader terms, to have another great Australian soul artist in Dawn West, and of course Wilson, who is another female artist that is doing soul music. Not quite a movement, but maybe the inklings of one, with more artists to be added on that I have yet to learn about, but just very cool stuff. To talk about Ella Thompson herself, what I've been able to find is that she has opened for Lee Fields in the past. For those of you that are Lee Fields enjoyers, and one of the things that stood out to me was finding out that some of the members of Surprise Chef, a band that is featured on Big Crown Records, they also are part of her live band. So a little bit of fun bits of information to learn about Ella Thompson. Actually, Lee Fields is also part of Big Crown Records, if I'm not mistaken. Forgot about that, but yeah, let's go ahead and transition over to the music. The first track that I want you to listen to, I'm still debating on how many songs I want you to check out, but anything else, I'll recommend other songs if we just end up listening to two. But let's go ahead and listen to Changes from Ella Thompson off of her album called Ripple on the Wing that was released in 2024. So this is Changes from Ella Thompson. Don't forget to pull that up on your digital streaming platform of choice. Again, the song is Changes from Ella Thompson. Going in. Welcome back. That was Changes from Ella Thompson. Man, I was two-stepping and snapping my fingers to the beat. It is an extra crunchy groove from Ella Thompson. Man, doesn't get any better than this. The song structure is so beautiful with the acoustic guitar opening, and then you have the staccato organ keys, and the vibraphone comes out for a little bit in the song. I just love the arrangements, and of course you have the mellifluous voice of Ella Thompson cutting through like a hot knife through butter. Man, she has an incredible vocal range, and on top of that, her sustaining notes for as long as she does, it's very impressive. Just great stuff all around, and it just I would love to have like a Australian soul invasion with Don West and of course Ella Thompson being the supporting act, and throw in Wilson for that matter into the mix. But just great fucking music, and it only gets better from here. This is the track that I was just like floored with, and the track is called There's a Fire Yet to Burn. And this might be the last song that we end up listening to, because everything else I think you could check out on your own. Not to say that the songs are bad or anything. It's just, if I had the chance to introduce to you Ella Thompson and I only had two options, like what would be the two tracks that I would sell you on? And so far it's Changes and There's a Fire Yet to Burn, which we are going to listen to. So go ahead and pull it up on your digital streaming platform of choice. The song, once again, is called There's a Fire Yet to Burn. Going in. Welcome back. That was There's a Fire Yet to Burn from Ella Thompson. Man, that fucking song is a heart wrencher. I still get goosebumps listening to it, with that opening piano riff and the harmonies saying burn, 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 burn. And then you get the ever great Ella Thompson with her vocals, and you have like the organ keys, and oh man, it's such a good fucking song. And from what I can take away from the lyrics is that this is about losing a loved one and trying to move on, and maybe finding another relationship that could be just as fulfilling as the one you had with your lost loved one. Oh man, I'm not one to really get emotional, but it's just the structure of the song with the way the instruments are arranged and layered. It's Ella Thompson's voice, like the vocal fireworks of Ella Thompson's voice, especially when the song climaxes and you just have Ella Thompson going off with her sustained notes and her vibrato and just the power of her voice. Man, it is so damn impressive, and it's such a beautiful and simultaneously bittersweet song to listen to. And I can't possibly imagine following up with another song. So I will just recommend to you listening to the rest of the album. Just check out her entire discography. One of the things that I learned about that she recently mentioned in a post is she does have new songs that she is working on for a new album. When that actually comes out, I'm not entirely sure. Let's just ballpark it and say she might have it ready by 2026, which maybe coincides with what she was saying about coming overseas, possibly to the US in 2026. So, in the time that it takes to make her next album, we could potentially see her here in the US. And man, it would be really nice to have like a Australian soul invasion with Don West, Wilson, and of course Ella Thompson. But as it so happens to be, Don West is already coming to the US on a US tour in the future. I think he is going to be here October 8th or 9th. One of those two dates is in Los Angeles and the other is in San Francisco. I'm mixing them up, but nonetheless, Don West is coming to the US by himself, not with Ella Thompson or Wilson, but man, that would get me excited to see all three on a bill together. But yeah, I am infatuated with Ella Thompson. Hopefully you enjoyed some of the tracks that we featured from her discography, and you go and listen to the rest of her music, because it is really awesome. And you could follow her on Instagram. I'm sure if you type in Google Ella Thompson music Australia and Instagram, it should come up. I can't think of her tag right now, but you can go ahead and look it up on your own. But just amazing music from Australia, and of course specifically from Melbourne. It continues to dazzle with the array of genres and things that are coming out of that scene, and Ella Thompson is no exception to that. Anyways, that is the end of the episode. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully we see you all in the next one, where we talk about yet another artist from Melbourne, an R&B artist that I'm very excited to talk about, and hopefully you check out in the future. Anyways, that is it. I'll catch you all on the next episode.